What do you think the biggest problem is with the new 3-lane map in Deadlock? Any ideas? No? Well, I'll tell you right now. What I think the biggest problem is we've got too many farmers and not enough finishers. And you might be saying, what the hell does that even mean? Well, dear viewer, let's break that down and talk about the 3-lane problem in Deadlock. So ever since the map had been updated, I've had longer games than I've ever had. I'm talking an hour. I'm talking like 50 minutes. I'm looking at one 59 minutes. That's ridiculous. But I've also had some 25-minute or less absolute stomps. And I think that's kind of the problem with the game. So a while ago, and like I feel like the general rule of thumb has been for the longest time, unless something has changed, that you get more souls per wave than you do in a jungle camp. So you're better off making sure you hit the lane when you can versus running around just to get the jungle. And with the new map, you really just don't keep up if you're just focused on the jungle. And what really kind of made me feel this way and think about it is the game I just most recently played. And I had seen it before and not really like kind of paid too much attention to it. My teammate left lane at like 10 minutes to go farm jungle. And I was just holding down lane by myself. He would go rotate, go do something. And I was keeping it 10 toes down in lane, making sure they didn't get our tower. He'd come back every once in a while, but he was just mainly farming jungle while he could. And the problem with that is he fell behind in farm so quick versus staying in lane and helping me and like keeping our lane alive. He decided to go off and go jungle. Well, at 25 minutes, he's got like 15k farm. That's not good. The rule of thumb has been 1k a minute is what you should be striving for. And like obviously like there's some like I don't know nuance and like discussion around that because it's easier said than done in the early game. So you kind of pick up as you go, and then you kind of sprinkle in the jungle camps as you rotate around to do team fights. But with this new map and having just these giant areas in between the lanes just filled with jungles, and maybe this is just like a lower tier player problem because I have been like in like the trenches lately since I hadn't been playing too much. But people just get so distracted by having to go, I gotta go hit this farm, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do this, and they're not staying in lane to fight and help their team fucking win when that's the point of the game. To further illustrate my point, and really just kind of emphasize like how much they've put into the jungle. I mean, look at the old map versus the new one. I just counted in T1 camps, there's over 20 on the new map, while there's 13 on the old map. And so I really feel like they're trying to prop it up like in other MMOs where you can kind of snowball or rather play jungle and like, sure, you still farm lanes here and there, but like you can get through jungle, but just the way it is now, that just doesn't work. And so you have this giant area. I mean, like, I really feel like they should just literally cut the jungle size in half. So that's what I think the main problems are. I think that people are over farming the jungle because the jungle looks so lush and vibrant and there's so many camps, and so peanut brains go, oh my god, we need to go get tier 3 farm, we need to go do this farm, we need to go to farm here, farm this, farm that. When really you're better off just playing lane, helping your team fucking win the objectives. Hit jungle camps while you're rotating, hit them while your lane's pushed up, but you shouldn't be ever just spending 90% of your time in the fucking jungle. It's ridiculous. I feel like the jungle and people just focusing on farming is what's really leading to these really long games and or really short stomps because teams aren't playing together, and so you have one person that's falling behind playing jungler versus a team of 6 who are playing lane and actually playing together. So at the end of this rant, I just want to say, be a finisher, not a farmer. Keep your eyes on the prize. We're not here to farm, we're here to win. We're here to play objectives, we're here to get kills, we're here to be teammates, help your team. If you can keep up and get 1k a minute, you know, that's great. If you fall a little behind, it's okay. But you really don't need to have one person with 4 kills, 10 deaths, and 10 assists and them have 80k souls because the time they spent trying to get those 80k souls, because they didn't get them from team fights, they didn't get them from kills, they got them because they were farming jungle. That's pointless. You should never have that many souls. You don't need to be 30k in front of your team, but you're also not contributing or helping or getting any kills or providing the assistance from your character's role. I think this just leads to so many problems. And then if you have one team that kind of plays objectively and focuses lane and kind of focuses their team fights and playing with their team, versus a team that you have one lane that's playing solo versus two, while their lane partner goes off and farms jungle, you're not being helpful. That's not a helpful thing to do, and you're not going to win games like that. And that's kind of why we're seeing what I feel like are such big snowballs too, is because you have a team that's focused and playing cohesively versus a team with people that are mainly trying to focus on farm and, oh, I just need to get my character built up and we'll fight it 50 minutes or we'll fight it 45 minutes. I feel like the longest a game should be going is 45 minutes. And like, sure, it could go longer if it's like really close and like, but you shouldn't be throwing a game when you're in their base and you have walkers just because people are going to farm. We need to trim some trees back and make the jungle a little less sparse because there's just too much going on, and it's too much for the lesser teams. Like, this probably isn't a problem in the higher ranks, but majority of players aren't in the higher ranks. And so, me being a mid-tier player, this has been my experience with the game so far. So I'd love to hear what you think down below. If you haven't had that experience and you think this is dumb, tell me I'm stupid down below. But from my experience in mid-tier Deadlock, this is kind of the biggest problem with the new map. I've been Kronos. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. Hopefully we get a nice, big, juicy update this week or next, and I will see you then. Good night.